Welcome back to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday episodes here on the Everything Sports with Aman and Evan YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about the NBA playoffs because, teams are like 14, 13, 12, even 10 games away from the playoffs. We'll briefly touch on the best teams, potential sleeper teams, and the sleeper teams are in the West. Like, I saw something the other day where the current Lakers record would have them as the four seed a year ago or 2 years ago or something like that. And that's just shocking to know because obviously the Warriors, since February 1st, they had the best record for a while. And then March hasn't been too kind to them. Pretty much ever since that 50-point loss, of course, they bounced back after the embarrassing Celtics game and beat the Bucks by a large margin, but it hasn't been smooth sailing since. The Warriors have been an average team at best at home. So, in a way, being the 10 seed helps because if you're going through the road in the play in and going through the road in the playoffs, maybe it'll help since you're a better road team. And I know playoffs are different than regular season, but we'll see what happens for sure because now, the West has been the most competitive conference out of the two for a while now, I feel like, because some playing teams in the West would be fighting for like the 4, 5, and 6 seed in the East, and that's just how it goes. There's just too much firepower in the West, and even though the East did beat the West in the All-Star game, like that's never indicative of the strength of competition in each conference. Because nobody takes that seriously, unfortunately. As much as the fans want the players to take it seriously, something's got to change. But before we start, we already kind of started, but make sure to follow us on all social media platforms because we do upload daily, whether it's shorts, whether it's episodes, whatever it is. If you like longer form episodes, you can catch us on Spotify and Apple every single Saturday. So, I mean, like in the East, the gap between the Celtics and the second best team record wise, which I believe is the Bucks, it's the same gap between the first seed Nuggets and the 10 seed Lakers. And that just shows how dominant the Celtics are. Yes, they choked a 30-point lead against the Atlanta Hawks, who are a playing team. But people love to get caught up and overreact to one game. And for example, yes, the Warriors lost by 50. At that point, the conversation was could they up could them or the Lakers upset the Thunder or Timberwolves? And the reality is, I still think they do. But now, because of the Warriors' struggles, you're locked into this 9-10 playing game against the Lakers. That means fans, when they complain about NBA viewership and everything like that, and complain about the Lakers and Warriors getting too many primetime games, you have to know that 27 or 28 out of the 30 most viewed NBA games have featured Stephen Curry or LeBron James. And so I wouldn't be surprised if when we see these playoff TV ratings, if it's down compared to some years, if Steph and potentially LeBron, because if the Lakers beat the Warriors in the play-in, but then lose to the Kings or Mavericks, or if the Warriors beat the Lakers in the play-in and lose to the Kings or Mavericks, you're not getting Steph and LeBron. Forget about having one of them. You're not getting both of them. And so I don't think if slash when that happens, fans can complain about that because when they see that TV revenue and viewership's down, that's directly attributed to not having LeBron and Steph in the playoffs. And I mean, in a way, the play-in's good because without the play-in, they'd just be missing the playoffs straight up, just like that. And even though the Warriors, their 2022 NBA champion was sort of like the doubters should just stop talking at that point. That's all that was. And it's been struggled after that. Obviously, Draymond's antics have been in question the past couple of years, only on the court. But again, people overreact. Like SportsCenter would post, like, "Oh, this was a common foul on Draymond Green." Everyone knows his intent on certain plays, and when you're just reaching, when media outlets are just reaching for a headline, that's when that's when it gets out of hand in my opinion because teams that need a great power forward, center, and a facilitator, they would love to have Draymond Green. If the Mavericks had Draymond Green, oh my God. If the Grizzlies had Draymond Green, if the Celtics had Draymond Green, a lot of teams, if they have Draymond Green, man, he he's starting to become an underrated piece of the dynasty in a way because everyone's like, ah, KD helped the Warriors, KD helped the Warriors. And if you want to bring up injuries in 2015, bring up how Curry played through an MCL injury in Game 7 of 2016. He wasn't supposed to play. Bring up how the Raptors beat an injured Warriors team. And it's fair to say that if the Warriors were healthy. If Clay was healthy and didn't get injured Game 6, would have gone to Game 7 for sure. If Kevin Durant didn't get hurt, the Warriors would have won the championship. The games that he did play against the Raptors, whatever that amount of time was before he eventually did tear his Achilles, it was looking like the Warriors were going to run away with the game, as dominant as Kawhi was. So if you want to bring up injuries helping the dynasty, you can also point to the other side. But anyways, Steph, Draymond, Clay, we all know like dynasties toward its end, whatever is left is left. Clay accepting a bench role. There's rumors that the Warriors could go after a big fish, like if Paul George declines his player option, or if Milwaukee just suddenly implodes, or if LeBron declines his player option, because the fact that it was a rumor that the Warriors approached the Lakers about a potential trade, it's just crazy to me, and it's looking like a possibility. Not saying it can't happen, but looking like a possibility. And I still buy the fact that the Warriors and or the Lakers. It's unfortunate because I don't think the Kings or Mavericks be actually recently the Mavericks are looking amazing after their statement win against the Kings yesterday. I don't know if there's a big conversation that they can upset the Thunder or Timberwolves. In my opinion, it's the Warriors and Lakers can upset both those teams, in my opinion, because I know players out the league, past their prime, whatever you want to say, but when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the playoffs, point to the more experienced team, IQ. Of course, the Timberwolves have failed in the playoffs the past couple of times they've been in it. When Jimmy Butler was on there, I think they got gentlemen swept. Last year, they got gentlemen swept against the Nuggets. But so the Timberwolves, even though they've had their fair share of struggles in the playoffs, I still think maybe try to make it past around, and then they can make a deep run. And I don't think they can do it this time if they play the Lakers or the Warriors. And I mean, fast forward to the East, and it's looking like a Nuggets Celtics repeat. I think the Nuggets or Celtics come out the West. I mean, if the Nuggets or Clippers come out the West for sure, because Clippers, they had like a 5 game losing streak right as they traded for James Harden, and everyone was like, shouldn't have done it. And that's the overreacting when you have 40 games left to figure it out. And they've been on a tear since. The Clippers have been on an absolute tear since. So it's either the Nuggets or Clippers that are going to go up against the Celtics. And with how dominant the Celtics have been this season, getting Kristaps Porzingis, getting Drew Holiday, which, I mean, losing Marcus Smart and Robert Williams, there were some questions. But when you got guys like Peyton Pritchard stepping up, the dynamic between Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis, and then Tatum, an MVP candidate, people don't think he's MVP. Say what you want to say about him. I think he's an elite player, no matter what people say. He's still definitely like he's a top 10 player for sure. Um, but the Celtics, they've been so dominant this regular season that even though they're not defending champions, it's almost like it's their championship to lose. Even though I get it, Nuggets are defending champion and all that, but when you actually look at the stats, their margin of victory, I believe, is one of the highest in NBA history. During their streak, when they beat the Warriors by 50, like they were beating opponents by an average of 30 at home. Like their starters were resting entire quarters. Like it was crazy. And I mean, they were up 30 against the Hawks the other day. And then they relaxed. They eventually ended up losing. It happens to every team. It's fine. No one likes to overreact, but I mean, it almost seems like it's the Celtics championship to lose because, and again, when ranking players and whatnot, people are quick to forget LeBron didn't win until he was 28. Jokic didn't win until he was 28. AD didn't win until he was like 28, like late in his 20s. Same with Steph, same with KD, same with Clay, same with Draymond. And I feel like Celtics time is now. Like if they don't, even though it's their championship to lose, in my opinion, since they did have the best record in the regular season, I still think if they fail in the conference finals or if they still fail in the finals, still think Tatum and Jalen Brown are eventually gonna win. And the overreaction was people saying they should break it up. There were rumors that the Nets tried to get Jalen Brown, the Rockets tried to get Jalen Brown, but I mean this is all overreacting at the end of the day. Simple as that. And so I feel like Celtics, Tatum has a lot of years left. Jalen Brown has a lot of years left. Drew Holiday not going anywhere. Kristaps Porzingis has a lot of years left. And so I think the Celtics will eventually get their ring in the next year or two. If they don't win it this year, I feel like they could win it next year because even though stats point to Tatum not doing well in the playoffs, I feel like at a certain point he's got to deliver because even though the Celtics are so dangerous, I feel like in the playoffs, Tatum has to take over for sure and show why the Celtics were the best team in the NBA during the regular season. And I might actually pick them to win it all, to be honest, because it's not like a dominant team. Playoffs are different, and even though the playoffs are very different than the regular season, that's just Celtics have been dominant in almost every single stat, every single game, whatever you want to say. And so that's my take on everything on how the NBA playoffs might shake out. My favorites, my sleeper teams, and so if you like the episode, please leave a like. Tune into our other content on all social media platforms. We post daily on TikTok and YouTube, and then weekly every Saturday, the long form episodes. See you there.